Today we're going to be going through my childhood collection. I got two binders, and this was the way that it was pretty much left. Like when I stopped collecting, I've put a little bit of cards into it, but I haven't really taken much out of it. So let's get through it. Two binders, mostly just one, and then there's a couple cards in another one. But yeah, let's go through it. I think we might as well start with the smaller of the two binders, just so that way we can get it out of the way and go through it. You'll also notice two cards which are pretty much in the background of most of my videos. These are kind of my most prized possessions that mean the most to me. On the left here is a Drew Brees reprint rookie card from 2012. I had no idea. I probably thought it was the real deal. When I got back into cards about a year ago, I realized that it's 2012 on the back and it's like a big common mistake. Someone even hit me up when they found out I was a Saints fan and they're like, hey, I have this Drew Brees rookie, you know, I'll send you, or if you want to give me like $5-10 for it, I'll cut you a little bit of a deal. And I was like, look at the back right now. I can already tell you it's probably going to say 2012 on it. Sure enough, it was. So his 2001 card is worth like $15 or $16 raw, whereas the 2012 reprint is like $1 or $2 maybe. It's a very common misconception. But honestly, like these cards, they're not like there is no. I'd much rather have this reprint because this was from my childhood collection versus going out and buying a $15 card that looks the exact same as this one now and not having any memories attached to it. Additionally, this is a Rookies and Stars. I think this would be a really fun box to open up one day. I've seen a lot of these patches kind of on eBay listings for this time period, but it's the only Drew Brees patch that I have. It's Drew Brees Longevity Rookies and Stars. What is that, 2011? So like the year or two after he won the Super Bowl, depending on what you consider the season and kind of where this lands within the year, but it's also out of 50. So those are probably the two coolest cards that like hold the most sentimental value to me. I'm a huge Saints fan. Drew Brees is my guy. So yeah, let's, as you can already see, I mean, getting into the first binder here, some of these cards were taken out, but I also was kind of picky about how I organized when I was a kid. What I mean by like being picky with my binder is I have these 5 cards here, and that's all that's on the first page. And as you can tell, they're all different Saints team cards. So that's all I put on this front page, and you can see on my double-sided in the binders, front and back side. So that's why I don't have any of these 4 right here. And it makes it look kind of awkward, but that's just the way I did it as a kid. So yeah, these this one was probably the most iconic one, I think. Out of all of them that I had, I just really liked that one. This one I actually picked up when I first started getting back into collecting. This one's like out of, Topps does this thing where it's out of whatever the year is. So I don't know, probably like 2011, 2012, 2014. So I thought that was pretty cool for $1. You couldn't really beat it. And I thought you know, it's not all about, for the 99% of this, it's going to be childhood collection cards. But I also want to continue to still add some. So anytime I land on Saints cards, I try to just add it. If it's in a collection and, you know, I can kind of get away with it, I'll just take it out of the thing and add it to my collection. Then I kind of would go by player. So here you have Marcus Colston, a bunch of different ones of him. I've already gone through this, try to pick through if there was any value, not necessarily for the Saints cards, but when we get into the other teams. For that I did a little bit, but honestly I don't even know if I have sold anything from my childhood collection. I thought about it, I've been back and forth. I took some out of the binder, but I don't think I ever did. This is really cool, Super Bowl Legends. That was probably, I mean, just anything, any Drew Brees card I laid my eyes on. It was Ring of Honor. I mean, yeah, it was mine. This is out of Score, like 2025, I believe, or maybe 2024. And trust me, those are not the only Drew Brees cards I have. Here's another page right here. Look, I even got this like Redemption Super Bowl Legends giveaway, and it's, if you notice, should be, yeah, this card right here. So I didn't know how to do any of that back then. I literally would just buy cards from Target or Walmart. Mostly Target was kind of where we went. Pick up a box. We also found a local card shop nearby that me and my brother would go to all the time. Go pick up cards there, but like things didn't hold value to me. Money meant nothing because I was, you know, spending money I got from doing chores and or my parents were fortunate enough to maybe buy me or my brother like a small box of cards at a time, and then we just trade them with people we went to school with. I'll never forget on the school bus, on the rides to and from school, we all had our binders like these, and we would just trade cards, and there was nothing, like it was truly just who's your favorite team. We trade cards and kind of like find value, but numbered cards, patches, they really meant nothing. Like I literally just any Drew Brees card that someone had, they knew like that was gonna be mine. This is out of last year's signature class. Don Russ, Archie Manning right there. That one, Rookies and Stars. I don't know where this one came from. I know my childhood collection so well that 2008 is the year on it. I don't know how I got that card. That's weird. Like I don't remember it being in the binder, and I don't remember getting it after I started collecting, so I'm not sure how that happened, but hey, I won't complain about it. So yeah, I probably have more Drew Brees cards laying around somewhere, but that's most of them. Then I move on to Jimmy Graham. He was a favorite of mine, but by the time I loved watching tight ends in the early 2010s. And by the time I really got to enjoy watching Jimmy Graham, I mean, he was pretty much moved on to Seattle. And then before you knew it, he was on the Bears and the Packers. But he was a great tight end for the Saints when he was around. And did he come back? I can't remember. I thought he came, did he? Yeah, I think he signed like a 1-year veteran deal like a year or two ago. Reggie Bush, great running back. These are the guys like I grew up with, so it's pretty cool to see this and reminisce. Fuaga, his rookie card mosaic, and then one right here as well. I'm just kind of filling slots that, I took out those two cards over there, but with some of the newer stuff that I end up getting. But Pierre Thomas, I think the move actually is going to be to take those cards back out and kind of do like a new Saint, like build like a separate Saints collection of all the Saints cards I get after I got back into collecting. I think that would be pretty cool because I have a whole stack just laying around right now that I don't really know how I want to incorporate it. Could even be the same binder. I might just leave like a page or two to kind of separate or distinguish the two. Pierre Thomas, Lance Moore, man, these are my guys back in the day. I'm really sorry. Is this like hard for you guys to see? Let's see if we can kind of get more of a, not going to quite get all the cards, but you can get like a good thing. Chris Ivory, Mark Ingram, why did you say that twice? Rookie, right there in the middle. Jonathan Vilma. Move it over here. Who else do we got? Martez Wilson. That guy did not pan out. Ricky Jackson. Probably, honestly, one of the, I'd say Drew Brees is undeniably the best Saints player in history, but Ricky Jackson is probably a strong number 2. A little bit before my time, so I never got to watch him, but I know enough to know that he was a great, same with Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan honestly might be a top 3 Saint at that number 3 spot. Absolute legend right there. How about Darren Sharper? That's a name if you guys remember that video. The hardest hitting safety, that Madden clip. Jari Evans. Yeah, Deuce McAllister. Aaron Brooks. Then we got some more kind of older cards. I got another Fuaga thing right there. I don't care if it's base cards, whatever. Who's that? Is that Kelvin Banks right there? Yeah, I don't really, if it's a Saints card, if it's got a Saints logo on it, like, man, that, I'm probably holding on to it. Just because if it doesn't hold any value to most other people in the world, then I might as well just hold on to it. I'm not going to sell it for anything because I'm not going to get any money out of it. Robert Machem, that guy was good. Jeremy Shockey, that was what started the tight end kick for me. Him and his style and everything, crazy. I love Jeremy Shockey. Malcolm Jenkins, rookie card. Then we got some newer stuff, signature class, Rattler and Breeze, Traquan Smith, Will Smith, rest in peace. Tyler Shuck. I've actually opened quite a bit of the newer products. I mean, not crazy amount. I try to stay away from retail as much as possible, but I've opened up enough that I don't think I've pulled a Tyler Shuck out of any of the 2025 products, and he's like avoiding me at all costs. I even bought into a break and didn't. I landed the Saints. I landed the Saints in a break by all odds, and then I didn't even get Tyler Shuck out of the new Top Scrum. I got like every other Saints player except for him. Mike Thomas, man, miss Mike Thomas. Tyrann Mathieu. So these are all kind of newer cards now we're getting into, that I added after the fact. For the most part, Derek Carr, way up here, Chris Olave. If he can have another season just like last year, will be perfect condition. Robert Machin again. I thought I had it by names pretty good. Somehow I cut it in the middle of it. Mark Ingram, Chris Olave, Lance Moore. Now it's just all over the place. Joe Horn, another great Saint right there. Darren Sproles. Man. Anyways, yeah, we can Jake Delhomme. All right, now this is all just... Yep, all right. So that's all there is to this binder. I think I added some new cards when I really got back into it last May. I thought, this was kind of the way I'd run my binders, was when I bought like what did I do? Like a Prism Mega Box of basketball. I didn't know anything at the time, right? So, but I knew that I found out what base cards were right away. I found out they wouldn't sell for anything. So I was like, oh, all right, well, I got all these cards. I don't really want to throw them away. And now I kind of, Prism is a more higher end thing, but like same thing with Donruss. But it was pretty cool. Like this was what got me back into it. I pulled a Jaden Daniels. At the time, it was like a $15, $20 card, because this was, right as this, a few months after this, he was hot. Whoa, not he was hot. Like, people wanted his stuff. Donruss was probably only a couple months old for 2024. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. That was probably my first, like, big hit, but it wasn't even that. Now it's worth, like, a couple dollars. Some Optic, Rookies and Stars. So I kind of like got back into, I remember how the Rookies and Stars went for that Tribreeze patch, so I was like trying to replicate. It is clearly not anything close to the same. So yeah, I just kind of, threw some base cards in here when I opened stuff, because I didn't really know what to do with all the cards, but honestly, it's really just a bunch of garbage at the end of the day. Now we have the second binder, and this is really where, like, if you collected anything throughout, like, I don't even know, probably like 2010 to 2014 were probably like my prime years of collecting what this binder really consists of, or at least like when I got these cards. This will probably be pretty cool for you, because you'll probably be able to relate quite a bit to these. A lot of these cards are very nostalgic, for me at least. Again, they don't really hold much value, but it's just like, this is what you would get out of packs back then. And nowadays, you don't even get these things. I don't think they carry these in, this was Topps. I mean, Topps just got the license back. I guess for flagship, they did have... the NBA flagship, they did have some like team cards like this. So maybe next year. They chose not to do it this year. They went straight to Chrome. So maybe next year they'll bring that back. I think that'd be really cool. I love these cards. Were so fun to get. I tried to get all 32. There might be some. Yeah, there's 2 Panthers. I totally forgot there's a whole backside on here. There's Panthers here and a Panthers here, but what is there? There's 9 cards on a page, and I can just feel it, like, when I'm feeling these pages, like, just how worn out they are. It's a little gross, but it also, I mean, it's been sitting around for 10, 15 years by now. But, so yeah, there's 9, 18, I don't know, 22, something like that. Different team cards here. Yeah, I probably tried to get all 32 at one point. Didn't quite work out, but we got pretty close. I love those cards. And then the way, I don't think I did it originally, but I think my brother did it, is we would go on Madden and we would use like how they it's the same exact way, but we just use Madden because we were always on it all the time. And we were using it to sort alphabetically the teams. He did it perfectly. He really did it from front to back. And then, gosh, I don't even know what's going on here. I mean, I don't know why I put a bill in a 49ers slot. Maybe it was just missing, but 49ers would either be one of the first or the last. I feel like it would be the last. Yeah, they were at the back because they were numbered, and it'd be 4-9 ERS. So they weren't really. That's where they ended up. Numbers were at the end of the alphabetical standpoint. So I guess I didn't do it. I'm sorry. I thought I did. But yeah, we got 49ers, and I would just do it by team, honestly. Let me move this over. There could be something laying in here that I don't even know, but I'm pretty sure I've gone through it a couple of times. There's a nice Jerry Rice card right there. But yeah, there's nothing should be worth crazy value. I went through all my Brady's. There wasn't much, but honestly, I'm not that disappointed because I kind of like that this is staying. What the heck is Brandon Ayuk doing here? Yeah, I gotta go through and take these cards back out. I don't know what I was trying to do, but I'd rather everything just kind of stay like as it was for as much as possible. Look at that. EJ Manuel, Ezekiel Ansah. That's one of the early Prisms. Let's see what year this is. Like 2013 maybe? I don't even know. Oh, right on the dot. 2013 Prism. That's what 2013 Prism looked like. I actually really like the look of the old Prism, the early Prism, 2010 years. So there's a Brady. Oh, no, I just pointed at Danny Woodhead. So I actually only had 2 Brady cards. That's crazy. Gotta keep doing this over and over again. I hope this is good for you. Let me get more. Trying to figure out the best way to kind of display this for you guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, we're missing a lot of the bigger names, but again, it doesn't really matter too much to me because these are just the cards that I collected as a kid. We'll move it over here a little bit. These were the guys that were, what is this? For the most part, these were the guys that were good, though, in the early, 2010s. So up here you have Ryan Tannehill. Interesting. Edge 93. Cool. Brandon Marshall. How about Brandon Marshall in a Dolphins uniform up here? Here we got Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, I mean, these names, seriously. Jake Long, I remember him. He was a top draft pick. Who else do we got? The Giants were crazy good around this time. They had won the Super Bowl, defeated Brady twice. That's the Brady Slayer right there, the GOAT Slayer. 2008 and 2012. Eli Manning was on a run for those couple of years there. And then Odell Beckham Jr. came around right after all that. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I had a friend I grew up with was a big Giants fan. Eli Manning. Those are kind of cool. I like those little, seeing a few of those right now. Who else do we got here? The Titans weren't that good. They had Vince Young, Nate Washington. Isn't he a reporter now, I think? Kenny Britt right here. That's a name. Javon Curse, obviously. Cortland Finnegan. He was good on defense. But yeah, Titans weren't really too good around this time. There's a Bowman Chrome. We haven't seen one of those, I don't think, in here yet. Michael Griffin. Chris Johnson. Oh, but CJ2K was a beast. Jared Cook. Early, 2011 Jared Cook. What else do we got? Yeah, Chris Johnson was pretty much the only thing for them during this time, unfortunately. Jake Locker, rookie Topps card. Kyle Orton for the Broncos. This was kind of a weird time for them. It was right before they were getting, because that says 2010 right there. So this was before they had Peyton Manning. Yeah, Demaryius Thomas, rest in peace. He was really good. So yeah, this was before Champ Bailey's up there. So Champ Bailey was good. Then Von Miller came around this time or a little bit after. More Champ Bailey, Eddie Royal. Um, yeah. So, I mean, there's obviously like, I don't know. There's probably a ton of cards that I had at one point that were probably really good, or maybe not. But like, this isn't even technically everything, because well, it's what I ended up with, but it's not all the cards that I would have had because I traded a bunch of cards to get my Drew Breeses and other stuff. The Oilers, they weren't even around by the time there was a Steve McNair. They weren't even around by the time I was growing up. By the time I was even born, they're already gone. I was born in 2002, so the Texans had just entered the league. That was their first, what is that, inaugural season. Vikings, I grew up in Minnesota, so naturally I have a lot of Vikings stuff. I got to meet Blair Walsh, and that was when he was in his prime, believe it or not. I've even worked at the Vikings stadium at one point, at the newer stadium. So I have a lot of, well, not a lot of Vikings cards to show for it, but I have a lot of like, I don't know, memories from Daniil Hunter I met at the mall one time. He was signing some stuff. Got a picture with him, got his autograph. Adrian Peterson, Christian Ponder. That dude is the laughing stock. Percy Harvin. I don't even see it right here. Here's a Randy Moss, but him, Percy Harvin, and Sidney Rice, man. Holy crap. They were filthy. Not too crazy, not the league's best, but I remember watching them. They were pretty good. Buccaneers, yeah, the Buccaneers weren't really good during this time either. LeGarrette Blount, Kellen Winslow Jr., goated tight end. Aqib Talib, look at that, star rookies. He was great. Vincent Jackson, another amazing name. Mostly the reason they weren't good during this time because of this number 5 right here, Mr. Josh Freeman, and also right here. Yeah, he wasn't anything too special. Doug Martin, though. Holy, Doug Martin. Didn't he also just pass away? Oh, sad to see, man. Too many young NFL players. Like, they were in their prime in the 2010s. And this part always messes with me because I forget how, like, it feels like forever ago because I was so young. And now I'm, like, grown up. I've graduated, college. I've, all this different stuff. And I've been out of college for a year or two by now. And so it's like seeing these guys and they're still like only in their like 30s and 40s, it blows my mind because even though it's like only been 10 years since they've been out of the league or close to that, and it's only been 10 years for me, but me when I was 14 versus me when I'm 24, something like that, it it just doesn't correlate. So it's really weird, but yeah, a lot of these guys are passing away at really young ages and it's really sad to see, but that's just the way life goes sometimes, unfortunately. The Redskins, I was around for the time they got RG3 and Andrew Luck still. Probably don't have much cards for it. But yeah, football, as you can tell, sorry, I should have just said this from the beginning. I only collected football. I was only into football. I played some baseball growing up, but nothing competed with football. It was like extraordinary to no other. This is the card I have up there currently, and that was like a gridiron giveaway. I don't know, it just had Drew Brees on it, so I wanted it. Phillip Rivers, yeah, he just came back to play a little bit for the Colts again. Darren Sproles, Malcolm Floyd, Antonio Gates, beast, absolute beast. Phillip Rivers was really good, but unfortunately, man, there was too many, like, it was a great era of quarterbacks, and really at this point, I think Aaron Rodgers is really kind of the only one left. I'm sorry, I totally forgot about Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's still around. Might be forgetting one more, but, like someone as a backup, but that's pretty much about it. But yeah, for as good as, like, Phillip Rivers was really good, but there was a lot of guys that were just better. A lot of really good quarterbacks, like, I don't even know how to explain it, man. There was so many good quarterbacks, and it's kind of that way still, but it's just like the whole decade of quarterbacks I grew up watching are now into the retirement phase, and it's just sad to see it come to an end. But that's just the way it goes. New generations always coming in and trying to outperform. More Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, Ryan Matthews, Mike Tolbert. I think LaDainian Tomlinson was kind of already maybe washing out by then. Running backs don't last for long in the league. Kellen Winslow. The Ravens were really hot around this time. They'd won a Super Bowl with Flacco against the 49ers in the Saints Stadium. Jim Harbaugh right there. Ray Lewis was a beast. Ed Reed up here. Man, that Anquan Bolden. Yeah, that was crazy. That was a crazy team. Road to the Super Bowl. Yeah, there's actually two different. Actually, these might be. I saw some in a video, and I guess like some cards that have to do with like events like this. Like if you find the right collector, man, and you know they can't just find 100 of these cards, which they probably can, but score, Super Bowl, like if I find the right Ravens collector, man, they might pay a little bit of a premium for something like that. Nothing too crazy, but more than just 50 cents, you know. There's the guy, Joe Flacco, that did it. Gosh, I can't believe he's still going. Then you got, what do you got over here? The Raiders. The Raiders were dog water at this time. They didn't have, I don't think they really had anybody. I mean, nothing, at least in here, really. Might be passing. Yeah, I don't think so. They weren't Darren McFadden for a little bit. What was that, like early 2000s? Maybe slightly into the 2010s. Zach Miller on the Raiders? Is that the same Zach Miller that went to go play like for the Bears? For many years, that's what I recognize the name Zach Miller from. The Packers. Packers are the Packers. They've always been the Packers. They played what? Who did they play? What was the? I can't even remember. Didn't Rodgers win a Super Bowl pretty like really early on? Was it against the Steelers? I can't remember because the Steelers and the Cardinals also played each other, so I get mixed up. But maybe it was. Packers have always just been naturally good at football. Greg Jennings, Charles Woodson. I mean, these are some big names. Jordy Nelson. Who else am I missing here? I can't read this name down here at the bottom, but let's see. Ryan Grant. Oh, I remember Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy around this time too. Jermichael Finley. Man, he was a really good tight end. I was in love with tight ends. Clay Matthews. I don't have any AJ Hawk cards, and now that he's on the Pat McAfee podcast all the time, and I see him all the time, like on there, you know. I think it'd be kind of cool to have some AJ Hawk cards, but look at that, a young Aaron Rodgers. Maybe these will, I don't know, they're just base cards, really. A couple of them there, some more over here. Yeah, this is that's crazy. Obviously, there's some vintage mixed in, and these just kind of got picked up from like people passing them on to their sons, and then getting their way into circulation of between our trades. But realistically, like that, I didn't grow up watching any of these guys, so they're kind of filtered in as you see here. But Brian Urlacher, no, I almost said Jay Cutler. That is not Jay Cutler. Matt Forte, absolute beast. Johnny Knox. If you want to see the most gruesome NFL football injury, most people don't know this. Watch the Johnny Knox injury video. He got folded in half backwards. Somehow he's able to walk. I think he might have been paralyzed for some time though, but yeah, it's probably the most gruesome injury in football that I've ever seen. You see people get their leg bent 3 different ways going at one time, all the time. Not all the time, but it's happened more than once. Johnny Knox, that is, there's nothing else like that injury. It's bad. Greg Olson and Johnny Knox again. Bears weren't anything too crazy. They'd been to a Super Bowl the late 2000s, right before like the 2009, 2010. Was it 2006 or 2008? Bears went to a Super Bowl. Devin Hester around this time. I'm not seeing his name showing up in here, but Devin Hester was a beast. Brandon Marshall. There's Brandon Marshall on the Bears. There's a Jay Cutler on the Bears. And how about Greg? Look at this. Greg Olson. I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me look at that helmet. Crazy. Charles Tillman. Yeah. But during this time, they weren't anything too crazy. Martellus Bennett. Then on to the Seahawks. This was kind of like transition years for the Seahawks, honestly. They're trying to find their footing. This is before they grabbed Wilson, but still grew up watching Wilson take that over. Matt Hasselbeck, Matt Flynn up there. Sean Alexander, I didn't really get to watch. But Sidney Rice, like I was talking about earlier, I did not know he went. Did Percy Harvin also play for those two? I thought they both. Yeah, maybe they did. They both played on Minnesota, and then they both went to Seattle after. Marshawn Lynch, though, beast mode. Yup. He did my Saints pretty dirty on that beast mode run. Here's the Steelers. Yeah, Roethlisberger's another one of those. What was it? Did they win a Super Bowl? I can't remember. I just remember James Harrison's like pick 6. Maybe they did. I can't remember. But again, Ben Roethlisberger, another great quarterback of that time. That, you know, even I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it right now. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But regardless, no, I don't think they did. Anyways, I'm arguing with myself now. Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger, another great organization and a great quarterback of our time, and unfortunately there was just always better guys. Him in the AFC, man, Peyton Manning really, and Tom Brady, just kind of those two really just kind of ran the AFC. If you looked at, there was like some graphics, who went to who won the AFC championship as a quarterback, and like 3/4 of them from like 2000 to 2015 were like all Brady and Peyton Manning pretty much, if I remember right. It was a lot of them, or at least they played in, one of them played in the AFC championship like every single year. Hines Ward, James Harrison, yeah, and then they kind of went into Mike Wallace. He was super fast. Then they kind of went into the Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown era after I stopped collecting. Still watch though. Heath Miller, great tight end. Emmanuel Sanders. Then he went to go be a journeyman all around the league. Terry Bradshaw, that's a really old card. Troy Polamalu, amazing safety. The Bengals, not much here, man. AJ Green and Andy Dalton, that's about it. Oh, I guess, is Andy Dalton still around? He might still be playing. But he really didn't do too much. I mean, he's always just been kind of mid. Enough to stick around. Chad Ochocinco or Chad Johnson. Yeah. T.O. right there. Carson Palmer. Mohamed Sanu. Man, these names. Who else? The Cardinals. Not very good. The only thing good about them was Larry Fitzgerald. It's kind of like right after Warner, after they've been to their Super Bowl. That's a Bowman card. Interesting. It's kind of interesting seeing all the different products. Like we got Score, Bowman, a lot of tops in this. So Panini products. Or what am I saying? No, there's actually a good mix. Most of it's tops, but there's some Panini built in. Absolute, like these are like big name product. Well, maybe not Absolute. I shouldn't get ahead of myself. But like you saw the one Prism, Absolute 2012, I think that says for the Bradford. So, and then isn't this like Crown Jewels or something? I don't think they do that anymore. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Rookies and Stars I talked about. There's another Rookies and Stars card. Steven Jackson up there. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Danny Amendola. I did not know he played on the Rams. That's what's also really cool about this is like very early on cards of some people's careers that I grew up watching. Totally forget that they're even on some teams. You're just so used to seeing someone associated with a team in a uniform for so long. Tony Gonzalez with the Falcons. I'm sure there's been way better examples, but like that's just one right there. Like everyone knows him for being with the Falcons, but really he was with the what do you call it? The Chiefs first, I think, right? First, Steve Smith, Jeremy Shockey. What? I did not know he was on the Panthers. Again, I love Jeremy Shockey, and I didn't even know that. I knew he was on the Giants and the Saints. Cam Newton came around. That was it was kind of fun until it wasn't for the Saints. We smacked the Panthers in the playoffs one year. I remember that, watching that game. D'Angelo Williams, Luke Kuechly, and then for a short stint there, everybody made it to a Super Bowl. Well, I guess not everybody, but the Panthers and the Falcons both made it to one, and they both got their butts whooped. I think the Panthers lost to the Broncos pretty badly. And the Falcons, the notorious Patriots comeback happened to them. And then the Buccaneers even went from, 2020 with Brady and ended up winning it. Or 2021. Nate Burleson. If I didn't get that right earlier, he's definitely a reporter. Unless it's the same exact name and he's on a different team. Sorry, I just bumped the camera. Did I say that about Nate Washington? I can't remember. I'm just on a rant. Kelvin Johnson, Megatron. Yeah, Lions pretty much sucked during this time, but Kelvin Johnson Jr. was the heart and soul. He made the Madden cover. The Colts, those are kind of the last of Peyton Manning's years. He's right there. I mean, decent, but nothing, like, they were good, but they weren't, like, I don't think they were, like, crazy good during this time. I don't remember seeing their names pop up too much. Reggie Wayne, but they had a lot of really good guys. Adam Vinatieri up there. Dallas Clark, that's a name. Robert Mathis. Joseph Adai up here. Yeah. Bills. I don't think the Bills were any good. I honestly, Fred Jackson and then like CJ Spiller. Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah. They weren't anything too crazy around this time because they grabbed EJ Manuel and he was a bust. The Falcons with Matt Ryan, they were good. Deion Sanders, a young Julio Jones, Jaquiz Rogers, Asante Samuel, Roddy White. He was good. Great wide receiver. Jets, everybody knows the Jets. As far as names go, though, Darrelle Revis right there, Mark Sanchez, and just like one Bowman here and there throughout. Sean Green. I like a Steelers uniform? Is that an alternate Jets? I can't remember that. Maybe it is. I forgot. I'd have to go back into Madden. I haven't played Madden in a long time. LaDainian Tomlinson. Oh, so that's where he was at during this time. He was on the Jets. I'm sorry, I can't speak. This is also about the time Brett Favre came and played for the Jets for a year, if you guys remember that. That's another one people forget all the time. Marvin McNutt. That's a name. Deshaun Jackson. Jeremy Maclin. Michael Vick. Yep. Crazy. Donovan McNabb. Eagles were, I think, all right during this time. Cowboys, you know how the Cowboys always are. Tony Romo, though, great quarterback. Des Bryant, great wide receiver. DeMarco Murray, he was all right. Miles Austin. DeMarcus Ware. Jason Witten, great tight end. I'm just going to keep glazing the tight ends all day. Yeah, that's about it for what do we got over here. Miles Austin, Marion Barber. He was really good, wasn't he, at one point? I didn't get to see enough of him, but I think before my time a little bit. Andre Johnson, he was legit the only thing that went right for the entire offense for the Texans. I thought that was Brian Cushing. Maybe they're on the other page. Nope, I don't see any. Oh, yeah, he's actually over here. Brian Cushing and Mr. J.J. Watt, they ran the defense. It was really them two and Andre Johnson. Texans were, honestly, haven't the Texans always been bad? Pretty much since they came into the league. Maybe had one good year with Deshaun Watson, one good year with C.J. Stroud as a recent. That's really about it. I mean, they've only been around for like 20 years, 24 years. So they get that excuse at least. Jaguars, dog water. Cecil Shorts the third, bust. Blaine Gabbert. Maurice Jones-Drew, though, over here. Great running back. That's probably it for Jaguars. The Chiefs weren't. A lot of these teams just weren't good. It's like, who was good at this time? Matt Castle. Look at this. Jared Allen. Most people would not think of that. And Tony Gonzalez right there. But Jared Allen's known to be on the Vikings. Derek Thomas, but that was before my time. Tomba Hall Lee. Dwayne Bowe. Yep. Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles wasn't running back. I think they did make it pretty far one year to the AFC Championship and lost out. Peyton Hillis he was on the Chiefs? I did not remember that. I remember him on the Browns. And the Browns, poverty franchise, right there with the Jets. Can't ever have a quarterback, so you can already see, I mean, we got, there's three here. Colt McCoy, Jake Delhomme, and Brandon Whedon. Like, just can't save quarterback around for their life. There's Peyton Hillis. The man who covered the, 1 year wonder. Josh Gordon was really, that's Josh Krebs, I'm sorry. But Josh Gordon, wasn't he on there around this time? Joe Thomas, one of the best, what is he, a tackle, guard? I don't know. Great lineman. Brandon Whedon, Travis Benjamin, Joe Hayden, great cornerback. Then we get into some more college stuff. Remember, this was before all the NIL stuff actually existed and miscellaneous cards here. So, I mean, this guy I should put in the. Oh no, he's in the brown spot. Michael Floyd up here for Notre Dame. Torrey Smith from the Ravens. This came out of a Sports Illustrated magazine. Tyrann Mathieu. Then I don't even know. Some boof cards, man. Case Keenum. Yeah, we're not even into. So yeah, that really is the childhood collection though, and about a binder and a half, something like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think of my childhood collection, and if you saw $1 million card, let me know. But I doubt there's one in there. I've looked through it a few times and looked at all the prices. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Peace out.